Good old Jimmy. I never doubted you for a second, mate. Absolute top job. Hello everybody and welcome to another video. So we are back at Watkins Glen, but do not worry, it's not the same race again. Well, it's the same car, same track, but it's the VRS Sprint series. So it's a longer race, 40 minutes, a mandatory pit stop. And yeah, I've wanted to do these for a while, but I was sort of waiting for the right moment and getting that confidence to do it. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. And thankfully, all the videos I recorded this week and all the races I've done off video as well, I've really enjoyed. It's been a really positive week. Probably my best week in terms of iRacing and results. Well, not necessarily results in terms of finishing places, but just, getting through the races, not having been taken out in turn one, and not having to rage quit a race or rage quit or quit because of damage. So from that point of view, yeah, it's been brilliant. So yeah, because of the fact there's a mandatory pit stop on this one, what I did is crew chief, and I've spoken about crew chief before. I'm sure if you're watching this, you're probably familiar with it already. But if you're not, crew chief's the spotter, basically Jim, who I argue with all the time. But there's this option that to basically auto fuel you. So when you go into a pit stop, calculates how much fuel you need, how much you've used, and how much will get you to the end of the race. So I turned that on, and obviously never using it before. I know it works for other people, having seen it work, but I was worried I'd not set it up right. So I was getting to that point come pit stop time where I was just worried we weren't going to have enough fuel. But the actual racing up until that point, we didn't qualify, and I talk about it at the start of the race, why I didn't qualify, so I won't repeat that again. But we didn't qualify, we started at the back, but we actually got a really, really good result. And at one point we were looking at a podium, but I won't explain why that didn't quite work out. But we didn't spin, we didn't crash. It was almost a Steedy 86 incident-free race. And as I said, we didn't spin or crash, so I won't spoil the incident we had. But considering it's our first VRS Sprint race, I'm not surprised, it happened. Yeah, hopefully you enjoy this race. It's something a bit different because obviously we've only done the shorter races really until now. I think the longest race we've done is a 30-minute race, and that's the Advanced Mazda. But I really enjoyed this one, so we're definitely going to do more of these VRS Sprint races, and eventually we're going to be doing some endurance races on the channel, which, like 2-3 hours. Or I've got some potential news coming up in terms of the Sebring 12 and the Nürburgring 24, so maybe doing those in the next couple of months. But fingers crossed that works out, and I'll explain more on the channel about that when I know for sure. But yeah, we're going to head over to the grid now and see how we got on, but hope you enjoy the race. So if you're wondering why I didn't qualify, yeah, it's basically just because...
Follow car number 28 in the right column.
Thanks, Jim. I just wanted to... I'm obviously new to this format. I just want to, see how it goes, see, the pace people take at the start. People are going to be doing fuel saving, or are people just going to be going all out from the start?
We need to catch up to car number 28.
I kind of need to get that kind of level of familiarity with it before I start just qualifying. Because what I don't want to do is think, oh wow, I'm faster than everyone else, I'm just gunning past everyone, and then next thing I know, everyone else is pitting much later than I am, and it's cost me loads. And on the flip side, I don't want to be going, right, I need to save fuel at the back, and then I'm not saving enough time with like the overcut or anything like that. So I don't know. See how this race goes. It's going to take me a few to get that kind of understanding and experience, but we'll get there. So this is the first GT3 race as well where it's not been a fixed setup, so I can change things like the traction control, ABS, the engine map. I've kind of gone with the same settings that I go with, or the same setup that I go with in ACC, in traction control at 7 out of 11. ABS also, I think actually that might be a little bit higher. Let me just check. So the setup that I've got has told me to have the ABS at 11, which seems high, but these guys who make these setups know better than I do, so I keep it like that. And as for engine map, I mean, it was on 3. So I've changed it to 2. I don't know if it did. I didn't see an option for how much fuel to put in at the start, so I don't think engine map makes too much difference, really, in terms of the setup that I got and it depending on it, or it having to be on 3. But we'll see. Anyway, I'm waffling. It's basically because this pace lap is a full lap of the circuit. I never understand why. Right, here we go then.
Green.
Oh dear, oh dear, someone's had a shunt already.
Green.
Thought we had someone to our right then. I'm hoping we can have a clean race and get a nice safety rating boost, given it's a 40-minute race. Right. This is always an interesting
Well done, Toby.
part of the first lap on this track. He says good start. Like I've not made up any places. Oh god.
Yellow flag. Keep your wits about you, mate.
One thing, and you know, I've never done a sprint before, so I'm not an expert. I can't really, not in a qualified position to give advice. But why are people racing that hard on lap 1 of a 40-minute race? I just don't get it. You've got plenty of time to make a move and get yourself set up nicely for an overtake. Just don't do it on lap 1. Last thing you want to do is take yourself out or having to pit this early on. Oh, I hate this corner, man. I've spun so many times in practice. If you saw our earlier race on the channel where we did this track, you'll know that I spun there on, I think it was an earlier lap. Right, lap 1 done. Corn to the DDU. I forgot what it was then. We've got some temperature in our tyres now.
P13.
Oh no. Good. I say I don't want an off track this early. So anyway, yeah, Jim is set to do our fueling for us. I'm really nervous about that working. I've never used it before. I mean, I've followed some YouTube guides to turn it on, make sure he puts an extra lap in and stuff like that. So in theory, it should have worked, but oof. Wouldn't mind getting past this guy. I think we're definitely quicker than him. Oh, man. Again, I had to back out then, because I don't think he's expecting me to be on his inside.
Car left. Clear left.
Yeah. Bit of a send, but I just wanted him out of the way, because we were losing far too much time being behind him.
Well done, Toby. Nice move, mate. The leader has just done a 1:45.00.
Right, so lap 2 down, what time was that? I think it's going to be a fairly slow one, because we held up for a bit.
P12.
So anyway, get comfortable, because we are here for another 35 minutes, or just over.
The guy ahead is Meyer.
Yeah, no, you don't, mate. Saw him going for the inside there. I might let him have this. Just because... Yeah. Just this early on, while we're trying to get into a rhythm and sort of work out the pace that we need.
The guy in front is Hunt.
Alexandra, you can go past on a straight, mate.
On your left. Hold your
Yeah,
line.
just...
Clear left. 13th place.
I could have defended that for a bit longer, but you know what? It's just at this point in the race.
Okay, Toby, you're reeling. Cormier in. The gap is 1.0 seconds.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, I don't want to be battling too much, you know, using too much fuel, and then find out that causes us to have to pit too early. Again, that might not be a thing in these races because of the fact you don't set fuel loads at the start. But I don't want to find out the hard way that I've balls my strategy up.
35 minutes into the race.
Wow, okay, so we're pitting 35 minutes into the race, so very late.
The car in front of us is now Cormier.
I'm really pleased that I'm doing these races though. I'm sure if you've watched a few videos on the channel, you'll have heard me say before that these are the kind of races that I want to be doing. Like these longer races, you know, ideally I want to be doing longer endurance races, but as a start, these are the kind of races that I want to be doing, and I'm really pleased that I've got that confidence now to step in and do it. I've been eyeing them up for a while, but I've been...
Yellow flag.
Ooh. Been waiting for a track where I'm comfortable enough to do it. And Watkins Glen, I like this track, so it seemed like a good time.
P12. That was a 147.88.
So we were car number 3 in the split, so high, and it meant that, you know, by not qualifying, we're potentially putting ourselves at risk of losing a hefty amount of I rating, but at the moment, we're due to be gaining a whole 4 points. So, you know, hopefully we finish a bit higher in this, but worst case scenario is if we stay where we are for the rest of the race, then we're not going to lose. Ooh. Yeah, I was a bit too keen there. Thankfully, you got a big gap behind us. I love this car though. I mean, the noise for one reason, but it's just... Compared to the Ferrari, it just feels a lot more planted to me. Especially on this circuit. I mean, I probably won't do Belle Isle in it again, but we'll... for most other tracks, I'll certainly be using this car. It's like my go-to car. Oh. Probably didn't want a second there. Just a little bit twitchy at the moment. Settling some nerves. So how are we doing? Still 12th. No incident points so far.
The gap to Cormier ahead is increasing. It's now 4.2 seconds.
Oh, a yellow flag. Okay. Wow, it's an unusual place to see someone spinning out.
The car behind is reeling you in. The gap is now 6.4 seconds.
I wouldn't say he's reeling me in, Jim, if he's 6.4 seconds behind.
Alright, Toby. The next car is Hunt.
Oh, we got a nice little group up ahead. A lapped car as well. He looks like he's letting people go, which is always nice. See if he's nice to us. Ooh. Oh, someone getting in the pit already? Or was that the lap car? No, it wasn't. Odd.
10th position.
That's what I mean, though. Oh, no. Ooh, we must have been lucky then. Just on the edge. Yeah, everyone's strategy is going to be different. I guess if you're not relying on Jim and you're doing your own fuel management, then you're basically pick whenever you want to come in. I'm just letting Jim tell me when to come in. Yeah, that guy is catching us. Ooh. There we go, first one.
We've been warned about track limits.
Oh, he's not letting us go yet.
On your right. Clear right. The car ahead is Cormier.
Thank you, mate. Right, Ruben's caught us right up. So, see if we can make a bit of a gap now. Not saying that lap car was the reason he's caught us, but...
The gap behind has now decreased to 2.6.
The gap up ahead, 6.5. Oh wow, he's really catching us now, isn't he? A little bit early there. Can't make my mind up whether second or third is better there. Sometimes you just don't get the rotation you want in third, and other times second seems like a bit too much. I think we're going to let Ruben go. I think we're going to have to. He's quicker than us. There's no point ruining his race.
Car left. Clear left. P11. Come on, Toby. Keep pushing. We might get him back.
We might, Jim, but I mean, I obviously let him go, you idiot. Right, we've got a load of lap cars behind us now. I don't know how far back the next... well, the car behind us is, but I think we got a big old gap. But hey, look, if you're watching this and you're thinking, why does he...
You've used half your fuel.
If you're watching this thinking, why is he letting everyone go? I don't get it. Well, truth be told, I don't really know. Maybe I should be defending more. But as I said at the start, I'm very much... Well, I am completely new to this format. Like, it's not just like one of the GT3 challenge races where you just go through, no pit stop, and just race hell for leather to the end. Obviously, that pit stop changes everything. So I'm just working out what people do in terms of lap times. You know, when people push, when people like sort of hold off and like lift and coast for a bit, save some fuel. And that'll all come in time, you know. It's just a learning experience. But I did want to just record this first race because...
P10.
Ooh, because there is potential for us to maybe do well. I mean, given where we started and where we qualified... Well, didn't qualify, so where we started on the grid... You know, we're doing well. We're top 10. Plenty of time left yet, so we got... 25 minutes, or just under 25 minutes. I love that chicane. I haven't done this track when that's been removed yet. I know like the short version, I think it's sometimes removed, but I'm so glad it isn't on this one because it's just so nice. Granted, it can really mess your race up, so it's important you get it right, but I'm thankfully seem to be fairly consistent with it. Like, when I'm not being too greedy, that is. So we're keeping Ruben, you know, in view. He's not pulling away from us that much. Thought he'd be gone by now. Oh. Yeah, that's a corner where I'm losing most time, without question. And it's just from a fear of spinning, because I have that in the back of my mind all the time, just how often I've spun there, so I know how easy it is. And yeah, so that's always in the back of my mind, and I need to get it out because that's where I'm losing time to these guys ahead.
P9.
And I'm allowing these guys behind to catch up. Oh, P9? Someone must have pitted again. So yeah, if you are watching this and you do a fair amount of these races, please do comment below like what you think or what your preferred strategy is in these races, because I'm always open to learning in this game, and learning from those who have done it far more than I have is the best way. Yeah, so we've a couple of mistakes, especially on that corner, and Ruben's slowly driving off into the sunset now. I think it'll be next lap and he'll be gone. Ooh. A little bit late off the brakes there. bit better. Still not ideal. Oof. A little bit hot into there.
Okay, Toby, we're at the halfway point. Should be about 10 minutes of fuel left. That's 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes. P8. You've just done a 147.40.
So 147, and the guys in front are doing 140, well, mid 145. So, you know, it's not the longest circuit in the world, and a 145 lap, that's, I guess, a second and a half's not too bad. Oh, guys just done 144.
Gap in front has increased to 5.8 seconds. 10 minutes of fuel remaining.
I can't work out if I prefer the setup or not to the baseline one you get in the GT3 Challenge. Hard to tell. Well, it's pretty lonely so far, but I think come pit stop time, that's obviously all going to change.
The leader is pitting now.
Be interested to see where we come out when we pit.
Sorry, man. Yeah, no problem. That happens, you know, it's great.
Because we're obviously going to be pitting quite late compared to what some people are doing. Seeing quite a few cars go in now already.
I couldn't dodge you, man. I couldn't dodge. I tried to. So, yeah,
Two more in a pit.
my car's done. Yeah, I think they will. Oh well, sorry about that.
Well, it says we're P2, but we're not. There's no way we've just gained 8 places. I'm guessing quite a few cars have pit already.
The gap in front has increased. It's now about 6.8 seconds.
$18 to go. Unlike the ACC race that I did earlier, which I'm going to be uploading. Oh, that's a little bit bad. That just dragged on because it was so intense. Like I was just waiting for, like it was just relentless. Whereas this, yeah, it's flying by. Slowly getting better at that corner. I'm maybe just being a bit too slow onto the throttle, or slow getting to 100% throttle. So where are we then? Hopefully it updates this lap, because we're definitely not second. No way. What?
Okay, Toby, keep doing what you're doing. This is spot on. B2.
Ow! Oh, okay. They're like third place, 9 seconds behind us. So it is obviously just all down to pit stops. So maybe pitting this late is bad. Is like not the thing to do on this track. An undercut is the strategy to go for. So, you know, that's one lesson potentially learned. Someone else had gone off. I take it that's another lap car. Yeah, so if you... I guess, basically, when we pit, we're going to kind of come out where we were around, like, sort of 10th, I'm guessing. Unless we have some absolutely flying laps now. But looking at how the gaps remain...
Alright, Toby. 15 minutes left. That's 15 minutes. This is excellent, mate. Keep it up.
So we're still in the 147s lap time wise.
That lap was a 147.89. We estimate you've got 5 minutes of fuel remaining. The gap in front is increasing. It's now 9.6.
So Jim, I'm hoping he's going to tell me when to come in. Oh man, this is like bothering me a bit that I'm going to run out of fuel or something because Jim's strategy is based on me lasting a certain amount of laps, and we've maybe used a bit more fuel than we should have too early on.
The guy behind's catching. The gap's now 9.9 seconds.
Right, so hopefully he's going to say, you're running on fumes, mate, and then that means I'm coming in this lap.
Okay, Toby, we're running on fumes, mate. In this lap, box this lap.
Good old Jimmy. I never doubted you for a second, mate. Absolute top job. I won't have a bad word said against Jim, I won't. Never let me down yet. Huh. Right. Make sure we get our pit entry right. I haven't practiced that. So, could lose some time there. Well, I'm pretty pleased, you know, given the guy, Stefan, who is in net first.
Very little fuel left. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
We've kept that gap consistent, you know, it's not gone down. I mean, at most it's gone down a second, so I'm pleased with that. Shows that we have kind of got the pace. Right, pit button at the ready.
The lead car's pitting. Activate limiter. Okay, Toby. We'll fill you to the end of the race. Black flag. We'll need to pit to serve the penalty.
Ah, no! I didn't think the
100 meters.
Oh
50 meters.
dear. I didn't think it was that soon. Ah, no, no, no. Oh. Wait. Hey, well, like we said last time, it wouldn't be a Steedy 86 video without some kind of hiccup. And
We've got 2 laps to come in for this penalty.
damn it. Oh,
Lopez
dear.
behind is pitting now.
Yeah, Jim. All right, mate. Have I done my fuel?
10 minutes remaining. 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. That wasn't as painful as I thought. Okay. Right. Still, not ideal. We would have been a lot higher.
Take care, there's a car approaching.
So where have we come out? 10th. Okay, so even with a penalty.
Track temps increasing. It's now 26 Celsius.
You've got to laugh. Well, rather we did that on our first race, eh? Yeah, rather we did that in our first race.
Okay, Toby. Don't let this guy distract you.
But I honestly thought that, like, the speed limit kicked in a lot later than that. Again, this is why, top tip, this is why you practice your pit entries.
You're pulling away from the guy behind. The gap's now 0.8.
No, I'm not, Jim. Calm yourself. That's definitely not pulling away. You can definitely feel the tyres need some heat in them. Ooh! We were lucky to only just get an off track then. Very lucky. We could have easily done some damage there. So who have we got behind us? Oh, it's Pat. We've already let him go once. Are we going to let him go again?
The car ahead is Cormier, P10.
I think he might have a good run into us now, into the chicane. Has he got the stones, though? What's he going to do? Is he going to wait behind us, or is he going to go for a send? Looks like he's going to be patient. So it looks like we're a bit quicker through the chicane than him. How long we got left? 7 minutes. I'm not checking because I'm bored, by the way. It's good to know from a sort of guessing how many laps you got left perspective. I'm actually really enjoying this race. I'm a little annoyed. Ooh, car nearly went from us then. Yeah, I'm a little annoyed about obviously the pit thing, because I'm not sure we'd have been battling for a podium. But we could have potentially been top 5 maybe.
Fastest lap.
So we've built up a bit of a gap now to Pat behind us. See if we can build on that. We know we get time in the chicane, unless that was just a one-off and he messed it up. But we'll hopefully get a bit more of a gap after this. Well, I tell you what though,
All right, Toby, you've got 10 minutes of fuel remaining.
and I have a habit of doing this and jinxing a race, but I'm going to do it anyway, is I'm doing a lot better than I thought I would do. I was expecting to... Oh,
5 minutes remaining, 5 minutes left.
either missed my fuel stop, because, you know, the crew chief thing didn't work, or I was just, I don't know, for whatever reason I missed it. Or I was expecting just to get caught out in the sort of how to pace yourself. Ooh. These tyres are getting a bit hot now. Right, we're coming up to some lap cars. I think it's the same guy, isn't it, Carl, who let us through before?
The gap behind is now 2.7.
Oh no, Carl, what happened? Well, at least we don't have to worry about him letting us through.
Push, we can get this guy.
Can we, Jim? Oh, 20 seconds? You're a bit ambitious, mate.
The guy in front is Cormier.
But I would definitely be doing more of these races. I'll probably do, not necessarily record them for YouTube, because I'm sure you only want to watch this video once, at most, if you even watch it once. But I will definitely, over the course of the weekend, be doing a few of these races. Just because I think they're great practice, but they're just a lot of fun, partly because it's track as well. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I think I definitely should go down to second there. I think that's going to help with that rotation and stop me running so deep like that. I'm trying not to think about where I would have been.
P9, that was 147.87.
Because I know, you know, I can't fix that now. And ultimately, it's my first race. I should be pleased with a P9 so far. But I just hope that we wouldn't have been in those podium positions if we would have come out without a penalty. I don't think we would have done, because of the gap to two of the cars, only 9
That's
seconds.
2 minutes left, 2 minutes.
So if you're wondering, why aren't you shifting up then? Why are you bouncing off the rev limiter? Well, because I'm basically, if I did shift up to fourth, I'm coming straight back down to third again, so it's a bit of a pointless gear change. And I'm only on the rev limiter for, you know, about half a second.
Car left. Clear left.
Thank you, mate. Well, people definitely respect their blue flags in this series anyway. That's reason alone not to do it again. Compared to something like the PCC, where blue flags are just basically, you know, you can go past me if you're faster and I can actually be bothered to let you go. Otherwise, I'm just going to be a dick. And I don't want people to think, you know, I know blue flags are more of an etiquette sporting code thing as opposed to actually a rule in iRacing, but, you know, some common decency just to let people pass. Oh, God. Oh, okay, actually, that's going to go through to the end. Let me check my Yeah, 2 laps left of fuel.
Okay, Toby, we estimate you've got 5 minutes of fuel remaining.
Ah, plenty then. I know I just said the last lap about pointless upshift, but if I'm low on fuel, just in case, I don't want to be too high in the rev... Oh, no, don't. Too high in the rev range this late on. Well, there's not been much in the way of battles, but from watching other YouTubers and, you know, streamers do the series, you're very lucky if you get 40 minutes. Oh, what am I doing? 40 minutes of wheel-to-wheel racing. At most, you might get a bit on the first couple laps, and then maybe after the pit stops, depending on how many cars around you pit as well.
Eighth place. 1 more lap to go.
Eighth place. Oh, that guy must have had an accident. Otherwise, he's pitting extremely late.
We're running on fumes, mate.
Oh, Jim, don't start, mate. Oh, we got 1.8 laps of fuel. I can pretty much... I'm not going to run out with 1.8 left, but I can afford, if I want to, just to coast a bit. I've got a nice gap. Well, guys, if you've watched all 40 minutes...
Maya is leading the race.
I appreciate that immensely. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed it. I mean, as I say, it's not been a wheel-to-wheel racing that I maybe would have liked, but it's, as I said to you before, it's very rare that you get that in a sprint race. Well, at these kind of splits anyway, so I think we've done all right.
2 minutes to go, 2 minutes.
Hold on, I thought that was last lap. I thought that was last lap, was it not? Oh, it is, yeah. But there we go. I'm really pleased with that, to be honest. I mean, it's my first race, or VRS Sprint race. It was always going to be a learning...
E7. Okay, it's over. Good drive.
It's always going to be a learning experience in terms of, you know, where we finish, how our strategy goes. Do I want to continue relying on Jim in the future, or do I want to be in control of my own strategies? Pacing, but, oh man, I had great fun. 40 minutes, so it's just nice to get in the zone and just race. And we didn't spin. We didn't crash. Didn't have any contact with cars. You know, obviously we... oh, no. Obviously we had the issue with, what should we call it? The penalty. But that's purely from a lack of pit entry practice. I've been hot lapping this track, doing long runs on it just to get familiar with it. But the one thing I didn't do, and the one thing that's cost me, is pit entry. Because, yeah, you just... For that exact reason, you need to do it. Unless you want to crawl into the pit and like just drive at the speed limit all the way up till the point where you hit the speed limit, then, you know, you're just going to cost yourself too much time. What you want to be able to do is just go just the right speed, brake just in time, whack the pit limiter on. Which obviously we didn't do. So it's cost us this time, but finished 7th. And, you know, I think there were 25 cars. So we did all right. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. I will see you in the debrief and look at the results. And there we have it. Our first GT Sprint VRS Series race done. I'm trying not to sound disappointed because, you know what? at the end of the day, and I talked about it a lot during the race. I'm sure you're sick of hearing me say it now, but at the end of the day, that was our first race. We could have it could have gone a lot worse. We could have spun out all over the place. We could have crashed early on. You know, we could have done so much worse. To get a penalty in that way, it was annoying, but I think we were overachieving anyway in terms of our position. I mean, I don't understand how we were second. I know there were a lot of cars that pitted in front of us, but the gaps while we were doing that run were just it didn't seem right. So I think a couple of people went out there or messed up and pitted early or for whatever reason. So I think we may have been in the top 5. As I say, when we just about go into the pits, we had second and third or net first and second behind us, and they were 9 and 10 seconds. So we definitely lost out to those. And, you know, I highly doubt the gap behind those would have been another sort of 30, 40 seconds. So I don't think we lost out too much. If you told me at the start of the race we would have finished 7th with 2 incident points and no accidents in terms of spins or crashes, I'd have ripped your hand off, especially for a first race. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be the kind of result that I always want to accept, but as a first race of this series, I'll definitely take it. And as you can see, we got a nice little safety rating increase, 0.23. I'm a little surprised it's only that. I thought, given we only had 2 off tracks and it's a 40-minute race, I thought we might maybe see 0.3 and 0.4. But, you know, 0.23, I would take that. You know, that's a nice little boost. So iRating, we're back above that 1100 number. I know, you know, we sort of bounced around that bit, but we're aiming now to only go up. So from this point onwards, that we're hopefully never going to see the other side of 1100 again. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. Obviously, if you are watching this, practice your pit entries, because that is why if you don't, and you're not familiar with the way the pit entry works in terms of the track you're racing on and where the speed limit kicks in, that can happen. So yeah, definitely if you're watching, if you can take one thing away from this race, it's practice your pit entries. You can hot lap all you want, you can get, you know, long runs done, and you can get your times competitive as you like, but you're only going to cause yourself problems if you don't know the pit entry and how to approach it. So yeah, hopefully you've learned something. If I've taught you something, then this video is well worth it. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. If you could like the video, if you did like it, of course. If you didn't, then don't worry. But as well, if you could subscribe, that would be amazing as well. Thank you very much to anyone who does subscribe. But yeah, we're going to leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.